Okay, guys, let's see a little bit the work with Netplan, which is the default engine unifying and working with, let's say, Network Manager under Ubuntu, which we can use to set up and edit our network connections. If you can see here in etc Netplan, we have certain configurations. So let's issue the following command: Network Manager COI dev status, and we see that we have two devices, one Ethernet device connected and one loopback interface. To each of the devices, you can have multiple connections. And here we have one wired connection. And if I type COI connection show, it will show information about the connections created and existing. And we see that this wired connection again is connected to the device ENP0S3. I can type COI connection and then down connection name, which is, let's say here, wired connection. And this will, as you can see, deactivate the current wired connection from the device ENP0S3. So if I type nmcoi dev status, we'll see that the Ethernet is disconnected. And if I had another one connection, I could have turned it on. So if I want to restore the things, I should just type here instead of down up, and everything will be all right. So we have devices and we have connections, and they are interconnected. So we can stop certain device with the word disconnect, and this will also stop the connection to it. And when we bring up the device or the connection, both of the pairs will be brought up. So if I want to bring the connection to wired one, which is connected to this device, it will automatically bring up the device too. So if I type here up, and now again, check the status of the devices, we see that everything is fine. Also, the connections will be restored. So we have an option to edit those connections. So I can type NCOI connection edit, and then let's say wired connection 1, please. You can always use the tab to complete what you're trying to reach. And now this will give us an option. Let's say if we type print here, we see what is set for this connection. All those options are changeable. In our case, we would like, let's say, to change the IP address of this device. And so as you can see, right now we are using DHCP, and we would like just to set up another IP address. And if we type go to and let's say IPv4, we can see all the options that we can set for IP version 4. Let's say I would like to set the method to manual. Okay. And since I know that the IP address of this device is 10.0.2.15, I would like to change it to 11. I also would like to see what's the default route, and it's passing through 2.2. So let's do this. So I need to go one level back. So type back. Let's set it from here, IP version 4.addresses. And for the addresses, we'll give another value, 10.0.2. Let's say 11. If I type print, we'll see that it has been set here. So the next thing I would like to do is to set up the route. So type set IP version 4.gateway, and it will be 10.0.2.2. Okay, the gateway is set. If everything is ready, I can type save, and we see that the connection is updated. So if we exit the COI and type APA, we see that there will be no change inside of the IP address. That's because we're currently using the connection. So I need to type nmcoi connection down and the name of the connection. So we are editing wired connection 1. And then again, we need to type with the up to reload everything that we made as changes. Let's see now the output of IPA, and we see the internet address. So the IP address has been changed. If we type ping towards, let's say, Google, we see that we don't have resolving DNS. For this, we have several options to correct it, but let's use another tool, and this is Network Manager, Graphical User Interface. And so we see we have a lot of options here. Let's go to Edit Connection, and we'll choose our connection. With the arrows, we can navigate. We see the address, the gateway, and we see that we don't have DNS server. So let's correct this one, and this will be the address. And then for the domains, we will add google.com. As you can see, it's very easy to edit configurations like this. And again, we'll activate the connection with down and up. We can also reload the connections, and let's try now to ping the IP address of Google, and we see when it's resolved properly, everything is all right. If we go to our resolve conf, we see that Netplan has changed it. So a little bit more on the configurations. If we go to the directory run network manager system connections, we have some files here and we can check some of them. Let's see, the default connection that we had was this one, Netplan ENP0S3, and then our modified connection, Netplan network manager connection. Then we see those overrides that we made, which are applied to our interface. So those will be applied on our reboot. So basically Netplan will take those YAML files and will render them into proper configuration for the network manager to be read. Also, there is another directory which is inside of etc Netplan. So let's go there. And here also we see the default configuration for all interfaces. And then we have this 190 connection that we see our configuration for our interface here, the latest one. So basically the configurations listed in etc and plan will then be read and available inside of run network manager system connections. So they can be processed by network manager and run from there. The interesting part is that you can have all kinds of front end to edit those connections. So here, if I go to this connection wired one and I see them directly in the graphical interface, you can do this as well from the command prompt. So let's add one connection ID with nmcoy add connection.id. Let's say my connection. Of course, it will be with a C here, and type will be Ethernet. And we see that it has been successfully added. So if I type nmcoy connection show, we see our new connection. What's interesting is that it's not attached to a device. And now let's see how we can connect this to our ENP0S3 device. So we'll do this directly from the command prompt. So nmcoy and then set and then modify. And then the name of the connection, let's say the new one, my connection, and we'll set here the interface. So we'll type connection.interface, and then we'll set up the link to our ENP0S3. And now if we go and see what's happening inside of our new connection, we see that here we are matching this interface for our changed IP address also here. Now if we go back and check all the connections with nmcoy connection show and activate my connection with nmcoy and then connection up, and then we type this my connection, and again we see the connections. We see that the my connection has taken this device, and that's how we can switch between different connections, modifying the same device with their different settings. If you would like to learn and try more things, you can visit this documentation from Ubuntu Core, which is focused on Network Manager, and you can try all the commands here to get a deep understanding on how it functions. For more configuration options, you can go also to Red Hat documentation, where you can deep dive into networking with nmcoy and other tools. I hope you enjoyed the content, and if you liked the information, you can subscribe to the channel. Thank you.